Right now, somewhere on Earth, there's a person curled up in a sleeping bag in the middle of nowhere. No fence, no lock, no weapon within reach, just skin, breath, and a thin layer of fabric between them and a world that has been trying to eat things like them for 3.5 billion years. And 40 feet away, in the tree line, something is watching. It has better eyes than them, better ears, a nose that could find them blind. It is faster, stronger, and built, quite literally engineered by evolution, to kill things exactly this size. It does not move, it turns around, and it leaves. If you've ever camped, hiked, or slept somewhere without four walls and a locked door, this one's going to mess with you a little. So stick around, because the answer gets stranger the deeper you go. And if you're into the kind of questions that make you look at your own body and your own history completely differently, this channel exists for exactly that. Hit subscribe before we get into it, because the next one's going to do the same thing to you. This happens every single night, all over the planet, more times than anyone has ever counted. And once you actually sit with that fact, it stops sounding peaceful and starts sounding insane, because nothing else in nature gets this deal. A sleeping rabbit doesn't get ignored. A sleeping fawn doesn't get a free pass. Sleep, for almost every species alive, is the most dangerous thing you can do. So why does the most defenseless version of a human, unconscious, unarmed, lying flat on the ground, get treated by apex predators like radioactive waste? The answer isn't an accident, it isn't luck, it's a debt written into the DNA of nearly every large predator on Earth, paid for in blood, over a timeline so long it's hard to even picture. Let's start with the part most people get backwards. We don't avoid predators, they avoid us. In 2019, researchers in California ran an experiment on mountain lions, animals that kill full-grown deer for a living, animals built like silent murder machines. The scientists hid speakers near the predator's active kills and played one sound, a human voice, just talking, reading. Nothing aggressive. The lions ran, not eventually, immediately. And here's the part that should stop you cold. They abandoned the kill while still eating it. A fresh carcass, calories they'd already paid for in blood and energy, gone, left on the ground. Because the discomfort of a human voice nearby was worse than the cost of throwing away a meal mid-bite. That is not caution, that is panic-level avoidance, hardwired so deep it overrides hunger. And it's not a California thing. Lions in Africa quietly shrink their territory around human settlements. Tigers in India rout around villages even when those villages sit on perfect tiger habitat. This is a planet-wide pattern, repeated independently across species that have never met each other. So what did we do to deserve this? We hunted. For 2 million years, almost non-stop. We didn't just hunt deer-sized animals, we erased entire categories of megafauna, mammoths, giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats. Animals that had survived multiple ice ages vanished within a few thousand years of humans showing up. We pushed wolves to the edge of extinction across an entire continent. We didn't just compete with apex predators, we out-predated the predators. And here's the brutal mechanism behind why their fear is still here today. The bold ones didn't survive. Every wolf that got too curious about a human camp got killed. Every animal that treated us like just another prey animal got removed from the gene pool, permanently, before it could pass that boldness on. Only the cautious ones lived long enough to have offspring. Generation after generation, for thousands of years, evolution quietly edited fearlessness out of the species that live near us. Fear of humans isn't something predators learn anymore, it's something they're born with. It's in the code now. But genetics is only half of it. The other half is happening in real time, while you sleep, through your nose's worst enemy, your smell. You think you smell like a person. To a wolf that can pick up a scent 2 miles away, or a bear with a nose 7 times stronger than a bloodhound's, you smell like a walking chemistry experiment. Synthetic fabric, sunscreen, bug spray, whatever you ate 4 hours ago, still leaking out of your pores. Soap that doesn't exist anywhere in nature. A predator's hunting instinct isn't generic, it's a lock built for one specific key, the exact smell, shape, and movement of its actual prey. You don't fit the lock, you're not a deer-shaped problem or a rabbit-shaped opportunity. You're an unidentified object covered in chemicals that have no answer in their evolutionary playbook. And when a predator's brain can't classify what it's looking at, it doesn't gamble, it walks away. Then there's fire, maybe the single best trick our species has ever pulled, and we figured it out almost by accident over 1 million years ago. Fear of fire isn't learned. Lab animals that have never been near a flame in their lives will still flinch at the smell of smoke. It's baked into the nervous system of nearly every land animal that exists, because for millions of years, fire meant wildfire, and wildfire meant run or die. We took that ancient, universal terror, and we started sleeping right next to it on purpose. Every campfire is a sign nailed into the dark that says, something here controls the thing you're afraid of. Stay away. Now picture the actual math running in a predator's head, because they are not the reckless killers movies turn them into. A lion doesn't have a hospital. A wolf doesn't get sick leave. One bad injury, one wrong move against an unpredictable target, and that animal is looking at a slow death by starvation weeks later. So every attack is a gamble, and predators are some of the most conservative gamblers in the animal kingdom. A sleeping human fails their math in almost every category. Unfamiliar, they don't know how you'll react if you wake up swinging. Oddly shaped, even collapsed on the ground, the human silhouette doesn't read as easy meal because standing upright is something gorillas and bears do specifically to look dangerous, and we do it as our default setting. And honestly, replaceable, there's almost always an actual deer nearby that doesn't come with this much risk attached. Here's the twist nobody expects. You're not even as unconscious as you think you are. Sleep isn't one flat state. You cycle in and out of lighter stages all night, and during those lighter stages, your brain is still on guard duty, still filtering sound, still flagging anything unfamiliar. Scientists call it the sentinel function. It's the reason a stranger's footsteps wake you up, but your own fridge humming doesn't. For most of human history, the people who slept too deeply to notice danger simply didn't wake up, so the genes that made it to you belong to the lighter sleepers. You're not as defenseless as you feel. You're running a stripped-down alarm system, even now, and you're rarely alone. Predators don't usually target groups. They target the separated, the isolated, the one cut off from the herd. A tent is never just a tent, it's a unit. Wake one person, and the whole camp wakes with them, and that kind of chaos is exactly what a predator's risk calculator is built to avoid. Now, to be honest, because the truth matters more than the comfort, this isn't a force field. The attacks that do happen follow an obvious pattern. It's always a predator whose normal rules have broken. The Savo lions that killed dozens of railway workers in 1898 had severe dental damage and couldn't hunt normal prey. The Champawat tiger, blamed for over 400 deaths in the early 1900s, had been shot in the mouth years earlier, its canines shattered. These weren't typical predators behaving typically, they were desperate animals running out of options. Which means the deal holds almost everywhere the ecosystem is intact, and the predator is healthy. The agreement isn't magic, it's earned, paid for in 2 million years of fire, fear, and a level of historical violence most people never stop to think about. So the next time you're zipped into a tent, hearing something move just outside the nylon, and that old primal flicker of fear shows up uninvited, let it. That feeling kept every single one of your ancestors alive long enough to make you. But the thing outside, it already knows what you are, and it already knows to leave. And that's the whole, strange, 2 million-year-old deal nobody ever tells you about. If this changed the way you'll think about your next night in a tent, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I dig into one of these wait, why does that happen mysteries every single week, and they don't get any less unsettling. Drop a comment too. What's the most exposed you've ever felt sleeping outside? I read every single one, and I might build the next video around it. See you in the next one.